bringing you the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
And welcome back to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Steve Swat. My guest this segment is Wally Sandelin, who is Public Works Director for the City of Lodi. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Steve.
I thought we would talk about that one ubiquitous subject this segment, which is water. First of all, the City of Lodi is going through, or is about to start, its phase-in of water meters, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Lodi currently doesn't have residential water meters, and we have about 16 to 17,000 customers. We've already installed 3,000 meters for some of the customers who had paid for their meters since 1992. But we're embarking on a 5-year, $35 million construction project that will replace 25 miles of aged water mains in the city, and at the same time install about 14,000 new meters.
And I guess we should say, for those folks who are not perhaps happy that water meters finally are being installed in your community, this wasn't your call. This was the state legislature, which a few years ago passed legislation mandating that up and down the valley, where we never had water meters before, we have to have them.
That's correct, Steve. In Lodi, we had always charged customers for water service based on the number of bedrooms. And as you might appreciate, the age demographics in Lodi, there's quite an older base of customers that we have. So many of them have their children who have left their home, so they have a single or a couple living in a 3 or 4 bedroom home. So they've always felt that the bedroom system was unfair. So we're converting now to a usage-based system that will begin actually January of 2011 and be fully in place in 2016.
And the whole idea behind water meters, of course, if we're paying for every drop, then we will think a little bit more about conservation.
Yes, and we expect that we will probably realize about 10 to 15% reduction in our water usage over what it is currently. And that's a good thing because, as we all know, water is a very precious commodity.
Right, even though we've had a pretty wet winter, it's always with us, the drought, it seems.
Well, over the past 5 years of normal or below normal rainfall, we've seen our water table drop about 4 feet underneath the community. So that concerns us. And we're doing as much as we can to stabilize the groundwater resource.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because I do understand that your groundwater is dropping so critically, really, isn't it?
It is.
So you're in danger of having the state coming in and telling you you couldn't pump anymore?
Well, there are discussions that have occurred at the state level about coming in and adjudicating the groundwater basin, which would then limit the amount of water that users could extract to their current or historic levels. So we don't want to try to prevent that.
So what have you done about that?
Well, the region itself has taken on a collaborative approach involving all of the users in the groundwater basin area. So every agency is doing something. In Lodi, we've purchased 6,000 acre feet from Woodbridge Irrigation District. It's a 44-year contract. It represents about a third of our water supply in the community each year. So we're currently pumping 18,000 acre feet of groundwater from the basin, and we'll reduce that to 12. And in the process of doing that, we'll be constructing a new $40 million water treatment facility on the northern boundary of the city adjacent to the McCollum River. And that will generate between 8 and 10 million gallons per day of potable water for our residents.
And you figure that should keep a growing community like Lodi in good shape for several decades?
Well, as you may or may not realize, Lodi is a very slow-growing community. We grow about 1% a year. We are not the typical valley community.
Then I take it back.
But it will serve us for many years in the future. We expect it will serve our needs through 2035.
A lot of upfront costs associated with that?
Well, as I mentioned, the total project cost is about $40 million. We've already invested $4 million in the planning and design phases.
All right. Well, Wally Sandelin, thanks for coming by and talking about these important issues regarding water. And it's nice to see that Lodi won't be growing so fast, so you'll outgrow the water supply.
That's great.
That's good.
Thanks, you, Steve.
Thank you for being here. And thanks to our viewers, of course, for watching Comcast Newsmakers. We hope to see you next time.